Okay, so why does Jiu-Jitsu build confidence?
Well, I think that anytime you're able to practice and train something where you learn self-defense and it's a very physical thing. It's a very physical way of doing things.
Expressing yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you say that you had a hard time expressing yourself before you did Jiu-Jitsu?
Not necessarily.
So did it help you you personally build your confidence?
No, I think I was confident.
So you're just the most confident person.
No, I'm not the most confident. I tell you what.
Yeah.
What helped me build confidence when I was younger was lifting weights.
Me too.
Yeah.
It was like a fake confidence.
Yeah.
No, but I get that.
Yeah.
So
I started lifting weights when I was a kid. When I was
how old were you?
10.
Okay.
I was
12.
I looked at Hulk Hogan. I saw him body slam Andre the Giant.
Huh.
I said, that's what I want to be when I grow up. I started lifting weights.
Wow.
Right?
Which one did you want to be? The
Hulk.
Hulk Hogan.
Of course, yeah.
And he body slammed Andre the Giant.
He body slammed Andre the
You
Giant.
wanted to be him.
Yes.
So you started lifting weights.
Started lifting weights.
How did that process go? Like, how did you start lifting weights?
This is back in 1990.
Okay.
When bodybuilding was pretty big back then.
It was big then.
In the early 90s.
The guys looked great.
Lee Haney was the
7-time winner.
Yeah, 7 or 8-time winner.
7 times, I think.
Yeah.
Lee Haney, yeah.
Lee Haney was 8-time winner.
He almost beat Arnold's record. Almost.
Yeah. No, he did beat
Arnold's
Arnold's.
8,
Arnold's 6.
6.
Yeah.
Lee Haney was
8.
Ronnie Coleman was. Never.
Yeah.
I used to follow this stuff too.
Okay. So and then Dorian Yates became the new Mr. Olympia. But I started lifting heavy weights, and when you get big and you're strong, you get attention, especially when you're I was
12 and 13.
12 and I could bench press 200 pounds,
Wow.
240 pounds going into high school, which is a lot.
Which is a lot. I remember that's
probably for anybody, 240
yes,
pounds.
It is.
And then when I got out of college, that's when I discovered Jiu-Jitsu, and it just kind of transitioned to that. So here's the thing: what makes it build confidence? It's just so when you do Jiu-Jitsu, you use a lot of technique over strength. But when you're strong and you use technique, it's even better, right?
Imagine,
So the best guys in the world, they're strong, they're heavy, they have a ton of technique.
Wow.
But I see it over and over again, especially with a lot of bully videos. They show these kids that get bullied, and then all of a sudden they discover Jiu-Jitsu, and now they're confident because they know that they can defend themselves. If somebody's trying to take your money, take your lunch money, trying to beat you up, and you know that you can stop them from doing that, it makes you more confident.
I'm not going to stop them with my culture.
No.
So at that, okay, now your biggest advice to someone that they're just not gonna, their headspace is not in jiu-jitsu yet.
Yeah.
They want to build their confidence. How do they build the confidence to start?
How do they build the confidence
to
start doing that, to even get to that point?
I mean, yeah, because at one point, weren't you in that, I was, where it was, started with the gym.
Yeah.
But the gym wasn't enough for me to be confident.
Right.
For me personally,
yeah,
I was gifted 30 hours of how to pick up women tapes when I was 18.
Okay.
And that helped me.
Okay.
Because the gym didn't.
Right.
I was awkward big guy.
Okay.
So it was more learning.
Yeah.
And then from there it was more learning.
Yeah.
When I became more of an entrepreneur.
Well, I think that just learning in general will build your confidence. The more you know about something, the more you study it, the more you become an expert and then a master.
So is Jiu-Jitsu a good funnel for that? There's a lot of learning.
100%. Because when you start out, you're all over the place. You don't know anything, and then you got your white belt, and then after about a year,
what are the belts? How's that work?
It's white, blue, purple, brown, black, and then after black belt, you start getting stripes on your black belt every 3 years, depending on the instructor, and then after 45 years of being a black belt, then you get a red belt.
Wow.
So it doesn't end at black belt. It actually just begins at black belt.
Really?
Yeah.
It just begins at black belt.
Just begins at black belt.
What's the highest belt?
Red belt.
Can you get more red, or that's it?
Usually,
Who's the highest up there? Are they rainbow? Like, what's going on?
No, there's
Seriously,
a couple of. So it would be. I guess it would be the founders.
Does anyone have the red belts?
Oh yeah. The there's not that many.
Out of millions of people that do this,
probably less than 100.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's like should be in a movie or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like 100 of those guys in a room.
Yeah, and so
That's
so
scary.
different instructors have different criteria. So it all stems back to Elio Gracie.
And who's that?
He was the founder, or one of the founders of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But then he had a brother, Carlson Gracie. So here's
like Genghis Khan when he died.
Yeah, and then
sons went out.
Yeah, and then Carlson's sons had their tribes, and then Elio's sons had their tribes, and then they.
Wow.
So each guy's got his different.
So there wasn't a unifying tribe at one
There
point.
still isn't a uniform. So Hickson
they
is
need
trying.
Culture Matters.
They need culture matters,
There's
man.
an
They
opportunity.
need
This is
culture
amazing.
matters.
No, this is
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
cool.
So there's similar criteria for the most part throughout the world.
It's like an
global
undertone of similar.
Yeah, but if you go to one school, you might have black belts that are getting their butts kicked by purple belts at another school. So that's not really.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not that common, but I mean, there's it's kind of starting to.
All right, so just for
dilute.
the novice at
Yeah.
home, right? Like, because I find this so fascinating. What is the difference mentally and physically from a purple belt to a black belt?
Well, I don't have a black belt, so I can't speak specifically from experience.
Okay. Is there some knowledge though? That's
Absolutely, yeah. So
Like
so
Wing Chun. I watched this thing on Wing Chun.
Yeah.
And it was a business guy, Dan Locke, and he was talking about Wing Chun, and so he started Wing Chun.
Yeah.
Which is just a kind of martial art, Japanese, I think.
Yeah.
And he went there for a month,
It's Chinese, I think.
Chinese.
Yeah,
Let's fix that,
All right.
everybody, culturally.
Right.
So Chinese, and he was showing this move about being able to do that, like in Kill Bill, how they go like that.
Okay, the
something with the eyes.
1-inch
Something
punch
with
or
the
something
eyes.
like that.
Yeah. He was doing something where he could poke someone's eye. The guy put a mask on. It was for his entrepreneur class.
Okay.
And he had a normal guy that's never done Wing Chun try the exercise, and he couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then Dan went up there, and he got him so fast, it was like he couldn't even move.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the whole breakdown was when he got into Wing Chun, he paid for a month, and all he did was that one move.
Mm-hmm.
And every time he went back, he wanted to learn new moves.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was like, it's just this move.
Yes.
And he thought the guy was wasting his time.
Right.
But the point was, the longer you do that one move, the more time and energy you put into it, that move becomes everything.
Yeah, and I'm not that familiar with Wing Chun, but I would imagine that this is a fundamental, whatever he was doing, is a base fundamental move that applies to many other moves.
It's like
within
the topic,
within
category,
Wing.
subcategory relationship
Well,
we talk about.
Yeah, but just there's like if there's like 100 different punches or let's say 20 different ways to punch in Wing Chun.
Yeah.
That's probably like the way you do it for all of them. The foundation of all of them.
So is Jiu-Jitsu like that?
There are definitely fundamentals and foundations in Jiu-Jitsu.
And
Absolutely.
is it like if you do those fundamentals longer, you're going to get the belts?
Yeah. So you learn the fundamentals and then it gets more advanced. But I always like to at least try and practice the fundamentals because I think the better you are at fundamentals, just the better you're going to be. There's a lot of guys, they do like these crazy stuff. There's this thing called berimbolo. It's this thing you roll over and you put your feet in. And it's a very sporty, like competition-oriented move. And I guess you can use it in like different manners. But it's not a very basic move. And there's a lot of like criticism about it from guys who they just don't. Because here's the thing: if you're rolling over, jiu-jitsu was initially developed for self-defense.
Yeah.
So if you're rolling on your back over your head and your feet are above you, and somebody could just smash your face right there, right? That's not like self-defense.
How do you think that would build the confidence? Getting your face smashed.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
That.
But in a sports setting or just
show setting,
not even a sports setting, in like a competition setting, where there's not punches and kicks being thrown, where it's just straight grappling.
Okay.
You can do that and you don't have to worry about it. So the culture of jiu-jitsu has
Yeah.
evolved and has changed through the years, and depending on who you talk to.
As a takeaway for
Yeah.
someone watching this, and maybe that they want to work on their confidence.
Yeah, yeah,
What would be your best advice from someone that went from working out young,
yeah, yeah.
and eventually getting to jiu-jitsu, and eventually getting to speaking on stage and comedy and
Right.
doing these things to get outside of your comfort zone?
Mm-hmm.
What would that be?
So definitely you have to. So it just comes down to that repetition is the mother of all skill.
I like it.
You know, that guy who's doing that thing 100 times. I've practiced doing an arm bar thousands of times.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I'm working on other different. It just keep practicing again and again and again and again, and practice the same thing again and again. And even after you think that you know it, you have to keep practicing it, and you have to keep practicing it in different scenarios.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you want to become good at, practice it. Don't stop, and put yourself into uncomfortable scenarios.
And be comfortable being uncomfortable.
And be comfortably uncomfortable. Build your confidence.
Culture matters.